Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands, and welcome to an SP Patrons video today that I am making for Shijia of a track from an actor named David Tao featuring JJ Lin or JJ, titled this is saying Just Love You. If we switch over to here, I've also seen I Love You. Now, I'm just gonna go, I'll put the correct characters in the title so that people know which one it is. I got the Just Love You part from David Tao as part of a custom monthly music review, and we're gonna hear what we think. And this is the live version apparently from the, I can only assume it's from the 327 Love Wishes concert. I love the sound of the guitars and the piano and how crisp and clear everything is, and those multiple guitar layers as well are so gorgeous, man. It's so fresh and pretty. Interesting live performance. So is it just David Tao and JJ? I'm tempted to say JJ Lin. Tempted to say JJ Lin. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check real quickly. Yeah, I just had a look at the description down the bottom. It is JJ Lin, so don't worry. I know. Oh, excellent. Man, they complement each other so well with their different vocal timbres. There's such a great flow-on effect between them, dude. And it's nice to have the focus on the guitar and the piano as well. They're sort of main instruments. Damn, they're perfect pitch, a great hidden chest voice. Oh, it's fantastic. I love that. I love the song so much. It's got such a fresh, cheery tone with these really compassionate, caring guitar chord and piano chords, the major and minor triads there. Less of a focus on the seventh and extensions, which I appreciate because they can often illustrate a complexity to the tone that is potentially unnecessary in a song where you're trying to be, you know, loving towards someone. Just open chords and triads, man. Constant eighth note groove on the drums. I wonder how long it took for them to figure this out. Like, I wonder how long it took them to get the knowing when to come in for the other vocalist, you know? How long did it take for them to learn to take turns? They're not freeballing it, are they? Like, because it sounds fantastic. There's a great chemistry between these two musicians. Really palatable vocal melody there. Mirroring it really well. What I like about the difference is that David Tao's voice is a little bit more husky in his chest voice, and JJ's is a little bit more clean. So you get the kind of mid to the high resonance change between them, and it makes going between them. They've even though they're singing in a similar vocal range, just the timbres of them help them to stand out. It's really smart, you know. It's why it's good to work with the musicians that make different kinds of music and have different vocal styles. It works so like with rock and metal, like if you're like growly vocalists with like really talented clean vocalists, you know, that contrast can elevate the music and just make it sound even fuller and massive. Nice slide with that bass guitar, dude. Simmering up and down the fretboard like that. Damn, man. A little bit of classiness coming in. Ooh. Both of these lovely lads can sing, can't they? Because they've got the core melodic sequences down, and they take turns in that bridge section. And it's like it's absolute ABCs, 1, 2, 3 foundations for to sing it normally that well. But they do those little vocal flurries with those legatos as well. And they're playing their instruments at the same time. And I'm not sure if people watching this are aware of how difficult it is, especially if they are improvising those. That is incredibly difficult to do on the spot, especially in a live situation if it's like your first take. It just shows the strength of these musicians and what they're capable of when they put their minds to it. I love those falsettos, man. They work so well with the organs. Because like it's not, otherwise outside of this, it's not a particularly thrilling harmony. And I don't say that as I think it's boring. I don't think the accompaniment is boring. I think the accompaniment is used, aside from those little guitar leady flurries there and maybe some drum fills, I think the accompaniment is here to elevate David Tao and also JJ Lin in a situation. It's here to show off their strengths, and it's there to sort of articulate to the listener, hey, this is the story, pay attention to it, we're going to tell it to you in a really kind of, fun, cool way. You need to focus. And if you have too much happening with the accompaniment, it can overwhelm the listener, which is never desirable. I probably should have reacted at that point where he did that massive build there vocally, where things cut out, and then JJ Lin came out to sort of sing the main line there. Like if we go back a little bit, to go back to where it is most replayed there. Very, very powerful. I mean, I think it's just kind of like I was spellbound by it. I was mesmerized by it because it was just... Part of it is the compression on the master bus of the output of the audio. Like, everything seems a similar loudness to whatever you're doing. So I think that's potentially something I'm not entirely happy about. It's the way that it was produced in the studio side of things for a live performance. I think that if things are completely cut out and if there hadn't been such a massive, intense sort of smackdown of David Tao's power there, it would have been more kind of overwhelming. It's still fantastic. I'm impressed. I like how they look at each other. They're getting great chemistry between these two. They're comfortable performing with each other. Testament to David Tao though, do you see how he's pulling back the microphone when he sings like this? Because if you do this, it's very loud, but if you come back here, you have to lower your voice a little bit, He's doing that with his vocal performance. If you see a singer do that, if the singer does that, they're going to belt it. They're absolutely about to belt.
就是爱着你。
Testament to the skill of these two. Did you see how they were talking to one another? Like how they were doing little pointies with the fingers and stuff like that? That's them knowing, that is them praying. Please let these notes harmonize well. And they did it flawlessly. Flawlessly. Very happy with this. We're going to have a look at the lyrics really quickly, provided by Shijia, and then we're going to conclude. So I don't know how well it's going to be, how easy it's going to be for you to read these. I mean, I have this. I'd rather have it at 250, to be honest. I have the whole lines. But we're going to read through this on these lyrics and try to understand what the song is about. You know, I've always wanted to tell you, give me unexpected happiness like an oasis to the desert. Say you will stay with me forever, be my root, my rings, let me fly. Oh my goodness. Remember the way we love each other. Damn, man. Remember the way we love each other. I just love you. I just love you. Sweet and at ease. That feeling is you. Oh, okay, so this is another love song. Am I confusing this with I love you? Da 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 da. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's another song that is in my mind at the moment that is similar to this. And I'm not upset, I've just got itchy eyes. I'm not crying or anything like that. So this is effectively about talking about the ways they love each other, the oasis in the desert, their hope for a future, etc. You give me unexpected happiness like an oasis to the desert. Stay with me forever. I'll just love you, don't give up, don't leave, don't care. So this is like a really intense love song. This is, because, hang on a minute. Because this is the conclusion of my review of this track, Just Love You, from David Tao featuring JJ Lin. This is an intense love song. I think that's what it's about. It's someone proclaiming how they are literally like the light of their life, the oasis to the desert. And they don't want them to leave. The love is intense. They want to be together forever. It's a very romantic song. And I know that there's a lot of these sort of ballads, these love songs in music over where David Tao does this thing. And that's absolutely fine. It's cool. I liked this one. I think if you're going to go for that angle of making a romantic piece, really sell it. Really sell those lyrics, man. Sell those vocals. Because I think that the vocals were obviously the star of this performance, you know. Both from David Tao and JJ Lin, they were fantastic foils to one another. Clearly have chemistry and experience working with each other before. And I really enjoyed the time I had listening to both of them sing this song. I think that David Tao was clearly comfortable in his element there. Sang the melodies damn near flawlessly. Was also putting a little bit of extra ornamentation or articulation or some little techniques and flows and legato passages in there. Really taking the scene where he needed to. But credit due to JJ Lin, because JJ Lin smashed it out of the park as well. I think he was trying to keep it a similar pace to David Tao, and I think that's a really smart move. Not because, you know, JJ Lin needed to necessarily be respectful to what David Tao was trying to do, but I think the music as a whole is better when you have similar levels of technicality across the different instruments. If you have one singer just going absolutely crazy on the mic and the other one's like doing like little bits, it can be great like when they're like in small chunks, but then if you do more than that, it just looks like someone's showing off. And there was a great sense of balance between the two throughout the track. David Tao got his moment later on in that final outro chorus. JJ Lin came in and sort of like kept up, you know, went up to where he was in terms of the energy and the intensity of it. Honestly, like it was awesome. It was really awesome to listen to these two bells it out. You know, they've got great pipes, and nothing but love for it. Nothing but love. Nothing but love. When I hear a song like this, I think, okay, so they've got the story with vocalists who clearly show great vocal technique, sing in a way that is caring and appropriate to the lyrics. What about the motif, the idea behind it? I think I commented on like the relative simplicity, the overall harmony with the bass line and those drums. You know, I think that when you have the focus on the vocals like that, the idea behind it needs to step back in intensity and complexity to balance it out and form an equilibrium. And that's what we had here. Clearly we had little guitar lead licks and lines throughout that showed, you know, skill and fluidity on the six strings. But at the same time, I think it was never too much. It almost was like always panned to the sides or something like that to make room for the vocalist in the stereo field. And I think that's great. I think that you know, when you have musicians like this and they, you know, they're just vibing and pumping along to it and singing at their pace, and the guitar parts and piano parts as well. Dude, they met the intensity of the vocals really, really well. I've said intensity a lot here. The energy of it. I've said energy a few times too, man. I need to go read a thesaurus. Might go swallow one or something like that. But the actual instrumental performance is not a note out of place. I was in two minds about like everything aside from that. I was wondering whether they were playing along to a backing track or if they did actually have musicians in the background that you couldn't see. Always makes me sad when the musicians are hidden behind a shroud or something like that. I think that's kind of lame, but I'm assuming this might be a backing track just because of the size of the stage or something like that. Either way, it's fine. I mean, there was a nice, if they were playing along to a backing track, they managed to slot themselves into the rest of the arrangement really, really well. And I mean, I think that, again, those falsetto harmonies, especially in the hook section, they sat on top of those guitars and the organ and the piano and the drums and the bass eloquently. There was a gentle amount of side chaining production-wise to everything with the drums and the kicks coming in there. And that tom fill in that break before David Tao absolutely belted out that last line in the outro chorus, that was pretty sick. That was pretty awesome in my opinion. I think that like at 5 minutes is as long as you'd probably want it to be. I don't know what they could have done differently. Like, I mean, you had like verse, bridge, chorus, and then you had like an interlude section or something like that, and then you had like a refrain back to the double chorus at the end or something along those lines, and that'll fill in 5 minutes. And as long as there's no filler there, like I couldn't hear any filler, I suppose maybe I'd have more of an idea of the amount of filler if I could understand the language natively. But obviously I need translations because I'm not quite there yet. But yeah, like legitimately, I think that you know, when you have a track that has been performed this well, I think David was sticking to the rhythm parts, and JJ Lin was trying to sort of like keep up with the relative effort he was needing to put in on those strings to the piano. And he, you know, I know JJ Lin can play the piano. I know he could probably like absolutely belt his way around the keys, but he didn't feel the need to, again, because David Tao and JJ Lin were trying to keep it a similar pace. It's just that's mutual respect as musicians who have proven themselves and don't feel the need to sort of shower their ego across the floor of the stage. Finally, you know, the recording, mixing, and mastering. Like my brain is telling me that I've missed something. I think that, you know, the vocals were recorded fantastically well, especially for like a live performance there. They were nice and clear. You know, the EQing and filtering was great. They were relatively raw, and I think that if they'd had too much saturation in there, it would have been would have taken us out of the illusion of it being part of like the whole entire mix. Regardless of whether or not there's a backing track, I don't know. There could be actual musicians there as well. I don't mind either way. I mean, it's just it's par on par, man. But yeah, no. They managed to slot in really nicely with everything else there. The leveling of different instruments in the mix was great. I kind of felt that maybe David Tao and JJ Lin were a little bit too loud with the backing track or the accompaniment at some points. Like, I think that's just simply because, again, they are the focus and they're doing more sort of an acoustic performance with the piano and guitar alongside the rest of the elements there, just to make it sound like the full track and so that people can sing along to it and know what's going on and be familiar with it. I think that it was nice and wide in the stereo field there. There's lots of things to appreciate as we go along. And, you know, there was nice sub-layering again with those organs and stuff like that as well to kind of let the guitar and the drums and the piano sit there. Like, there was depth to the mix, and there were no weird resonances in the frequency spectrum as well. So, like, things were, you know, again, things were treated properly. It was a commercial production. The limiting compression was great on the track. You know, it was nice and loud without pumping. And that's effective. You know, it's a really solid effort. Like, I enjoy listening to David Tao. And I also enjoy listening to JJ Lin, so I'm happy I got the opportunity to hear more of their material, because this is effectively my review of this track by David Tao featuring JJ Lin. I think JJ Lin is for the live performance, incidentally. I'm not sure if he's involved with the original track, but either way, it's cool. Now, again, this track I think is called Just Love You, and hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, please do go check out their various social medias and the YouTube. I think this is David Tao's YouTube channel actually. And stay cool and stay safe. Please remember, support your local musicians and artists at this point in time as they need the help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I'll catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.